problem. How does this insulin actually work? So imagine this is your cell, okay? So this is a cell and you have a lock and key system over here. The key is insulin, okay? Um, Outside this cell, you have too much of glucose revolving around. Okay, now glucose has to enter into the cell. For that, you need this key. And this key is insulin. Unless and until you don't have a right key, the doors won't open and glucose cannot enter into the cell. Okay, this cell that I'm talking about is the cell in each part of our body. We all know that we are made up of cells. Okay, cells combine to become tissue, tissue combine to become organ, and organs combine to become an organism. Okay, so we are an organism. We are made of tiny small cells, and cells need energy. How do they get their energy? They get their energy from glucose. Okay, glucose gets converted to energy. Nothing else in our body gets converted to energy. Our body uses only glucose as energy. So if cells don't get glucose, cells will not get energy. Okay, so for that reason you require insulin. So imagine in diabetes, because you don't have insulin, you have a lot of glucose. Okay, you've been eating really well, you have a lot of glucose revolving around in your blood, but just because of the wrong key or no key, it is not able to enter into the cell. And that's how when you test your blood sugar levels, it shoots up. Okay, so that's the reason why this is happening. Glucose as a source of fuel for cells. Like I said, glucose is the only energy for these cells. If there is no insulin, there will be no glucose in cell. Okay, if there is less insulin, there will be less glucose into the cell. Correct? If glucose cannot enter into the cell, it is going to circulate in the blood continuously unless it doesn't enter into the cell. Cell needs energy, okay, but the glucose is not entering into the cell. So what happens as a result? Of course, you will have high blood glucose levels because all that glucose is in the blood. You'll get a lot of hunger because cells don't have energy. Cell will send a signal to your brain. Okay, look, Baba, I don't have energy. You tell the person to eat because somehow body feels that the person is not eating. Okay, so that will give you hunger signal. So as as your sugar levels go high in blood, your hunger also goes high. Okay, so that's like a vicious cycle. So because your hunger is going high, you tend to eat more. Your blood sugar is already high. When you eat more, your blood sugar again goes high. Okay, a lot of loss of muscles will take place. Why? Because whatever carbohydrate was present got used up. Okay, but now even proteins are getting used up. So all your muscles will get broken down. Now, why muscles? Our body uses glucose, and where does this glucose come from? The first fuel is carbohydrate. So whatever food that we are eating, okay, the first thing comes from the carbohydrates. Suppose if you eat less carbohydrates, or suppose you are hungry and you've not been able to eat, then the second source is going to be proteins. Okay, so which means we have ample of proteins in our body. We have a lot of muscles. Our cells are nothing but protein. Our hormones are nothing but proteins. Our enzymes in our body are nothing but protein. Okay, your hair, your nails, everything is protein. So slowly everything will start breaking down so that your cell gets energy. So no matter if you're off carbohydrate diet, there are so many people who follow keto diet or who follow low carb diet or a no carb diet. They eat a lot of proteins. Now remember, your body is going to use only energy as a source of only glucose as a source of energy. So you think you are eating proteins, which is really good, but actually your liver is converting all that proteins into glucose. Okay, so it's very, very important that we do eat carbohydrates to some extent. Of course, it depends on the quality of carbohydrates that we use, which I'll talk a little later. Okay, and third fuel is fats. Unfortunately, fats don't get converted to glucose very well. Okay, but then what happens is, since the cells feel that there is no energy, whatever fat storage that you have in your body starts breaking down. So that's how people who are diabetic, they start losing weight. So there'll be people who will start losing weight, or there'll be people who actually start gaining weight. So why do they